So, welcome to the resurrection narrative. And I want to just talk briefly about things that you might notice in Shelley and Mary Beth's telling of this story. First is the way in which they use gestures to indicate the responses of characters in the story to the things that they're telling. So there are different cases in which they will use different gestures. And if you pay attention to what character it is that they're doing the gesture for, it will lessen, a degree of confusion that might happen. A second is that they are often generating by their gestures and expressing responses, both their own response, but also the response of characters in the story. And so the function of some of their expressions and so on is to embody those responses. Overall, what to listen for is the overall impact of this telling of the resurrection tradition. The climax of this story is Jesus' commission to the disciples to go and tell. And it is at that point where they speak very simply and directly to you as a listener to this story, to invite you to go and make disciples of all nations and baptize and so on. So if you also notice the way in which their address to you evokes responses in your own heart and mind, then that will enable you to perceive, to experience the fullness of this story. So this is an invitation to experience the story of the resurrection.
Early on Sunday, just as the new day was dawning, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to see the tomb. Now suddenly, there was a great earthquake because an angel had come down from heaven, rolled the stone away, and sat on it.
Now the angel's face shone like lightning, and his clothes were as white as snow. The guards were filled with terror when they saw the angel, and they fell into a dead faint. Then the angel spoke to the women.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I know you have come to see Jesus, who was crucified. But he isn't here. He has been raised from the dead, just as he said would happen. Come, see where he was lying.
Then the angel continued, "Come now, go quick. Go tell the disciples that Jesus has been raised from the dead and has gone into Galilee. You will see him there. Remember, I have told you."
Well, then the women, they ran quickly from the tomb. They were very frightened, but they were also filled with great joy. And so they rushed to find the disciples, to give them the angel's message.
And as they were going, they met Jesus. "Greetings," he called. And the women ran to him and held his feet and worshipped him.
And Jesus said, "Don't be afraid. Go now and tell the others to leave for Galilee. They'll see me there."
Well, then the disciples went toward Galilee, toward the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. And they saw him and they worshiped him. But there were some who still doubted.
And so Jesus said to them, "Authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. So therefore, go and make disciples in all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit.
And teach these new disciples to obey all the commands that I have given you. And be sure of this, I am with you always, even to the end of the age."
I am with you always, even to the end of the age.